Blood Blockade Battlefront is a very controversial ending due to the fact that a lot of people did not understand the ending and in turn just said, oh, that's a bad anime. Or the ending sucked because of XYZ, which is not necessarily true. I personally don't think that's true. Whole reason I'm even making this video, because it had a great ending. It's just a lot of people didn't fully understand it, right? And you could say, like, yeah, that's on you, or it's like the media literacy of it all, because like that's a huge thing right now. And I would agree, because the ending is not supposed to be this major thing, because a lot of people said it was random. It was just like uncalled for, anticlimactic. But it was very massive. It's such a good and massive ending to kind of sum up the entire story, right? And this whole video, we're going to be breaking down the series of Blood Blockade Battlefront and why that the ending of the anime was so good. We're going to have it in 3 parts. Part 1 will be just like the dissection and like the symbolism of Leonardo Watch, right? Number 2 will be just going through the reoccurring characters and like this the ensemble and how they shape his world and like change him. Number 3 will be the indomitable human spirit and talking about that's overall theme in this story, right? We'll be going through all those things because I do truly love this show and I want to be able to explain to other people why you might not be wrong in thinking you don't like the ending, but your reasoning as why you don't like the ending are completely false and wrong, all right? Again, maybe you didn't have the best English teacher, all right? Couldn't be me. Miss Grande, killer, amazing teacher, all right? Top 2, and she's not number 2, all right? Like, killer teacher, amazing person. I would not have my, like, love of media. I don't think I would be into media as much as I am if I didn't have such a good understanding, and I learned the understanding through her. Even being able to express myself. Even being able to like express myself through media, you know what I'm saying? And through TikToks, videos or whatnot, as well as I do without her. So Miss Grande, if you see this, I hope you do. I'm going to send you this video. Thank you. Thank you so much. But now into the video. Also, spoilers for Blood Blockade Battlefront, the entire series. I'll be doing season 1 and season 2. So the entire thing. Okay. Spoilers on that front. Part 1, all right, Leonardo Watch and like kind of the symbolism and whatnot around him and his name, right? Now, a little background for Leonardo Watch. I'm assuming you already know who he is and what the show is about. On the off chance you don't, and you're just watching this video anyway, Leonardo Watch and his brought his sister and his family to Hell Salem's Lot. It's this place. It's New York. It's New York, but a portal opened up, and now demons and people from other world coexist there. The melting pot. That's it. But they bring his sister to Hell Salem's Lot because she's paralyzed and they're hoping maybe she can walk again. But while they're there, a god approaches Leo and his sister Michaela and are like, yo, one of you guys are going to bear witness to everything of Hell Salem's Lot. I'm going to give you the all-seeing eyes of the gods. And the other one is losing their sight. Good luck. Somebody choose right now. Leo is frozen. Like he can't speak. So Michaela, his sister, is like, yeah, take my side, man. Go ahead. Because Leo likes photography and all this other stuff. And that's her brother. She wants to help. She wants to, you know, like take the brunt of it for him. So she does that. He feels terrible about it. And so after the fact, he actually moves to He moves to Hell Salem's Lot to learn about the all-seeing eyes of God. Hopefully get his eyes, like the all-seeing eyes of God off, like taken out of him essentially. And then give his sister her sight back or anything of the sort, right? That's what he's there for. And he meets up with Zap, then he joins Libra, blah, 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 blah. But the important part about all this right here is that moment right there where he was frozen, he never left that moment. He has never left that moment, okay? Even though he still got like the metaphorical, I got off the bus, but I'm still in the bus kind of thing, right? That's what happened to him. He's obviously physically has moved past that moment, but mentally has not. And I'll put up a list of times right here throughout seasons 1 and 2 that he references that single moment. It happens so often. Season 2, I think it happens twice an episode sometimes, to where he references being back at that moment of like seeing the God and the all-seeing eyes of God. The boy has not left that moment at all, right? He's like frozen in time, right? And he calls himself useless. He calls himself broken a lot. He has really bad self-esteem up until like towards the tail end of season 2, a little bit towards the end of season 1, but mostly mid to late season 2 is where he starts getting more self-esteem. But before then, he keeps calling himself broken, useless. He can't do anything right, blah, blah, blah. Do you remember his name? Leonardo, watch. Leonardo, watch. And what is a useless watch? What is a broken watch? It's stuck in time. A useless and broken watch is stuck in time. The boy cannot move on from the one moment right before he got the eyes of God, because that's where he is mentally. He dreams about it. When he gets knocked out, he gets put back in that moment. He just thinks about it from occasion, time to time. He's stuck in that moment, right? Heck, the boy's a quote-unquote journalist. They try to throw that in there every so often. He just likes taking photos because he likes preserving things, especially in Hell Salem's Lot. It's going to get destroyed within a day, most likely, right? The boy goes through it, okay? Like, he goes through a lot, but ultimately, he is stuck in time. Leonardo watch sees himself as broken and useless, and a broken watch is a watch that is stuck on the same point in time. Granted, a broken watch is right twice a day. He's just never right when he needs to be. That's it, right? There's times, like it happens one time in the series where I feel like him thinking about that moment really helped him, and it's the series finale. That's about it. Other than that, he is stuck in that moment. I have other points too, but that is such a major one that I feel like people miss, because you could really just toss any last name on somebody without really giving it anything, right? We don't know about like the Watch family fortune. We assume they're kind of rich based on like where Michaela and him live, right? But like there's nothing specific about the Watch. Unless the Watch doesn't work. Because he feels like he doesn't work, right? And that, again, it's not even a reach. I was going to be like, oh, it might be a reach. It's not. I'm right. Okay, I'm going to say I'm right on that one. But anyway, here's the other points, right? Another major thing about Leonardo Watch, more specifically towards his powers, he does not use them for himself, right? And you will see that in the beginning of the show, you may think, he's getting jumped, he's getting beat up because he doesn't know how to use his powers. My boy is still getting beat up by the same people in season 2. Mid to late season 2, if that. Do you know why? He even says it. He doesn't feel right using his powers for himself. Because he doesn't feel... Yeah, I know. It's not just a still. It's an ad. Like, I'm playing a YouTube video. It's just on mute. I just wanted something on the TV. But he doesn't feel like he deserves his powers. And he's stuck, like I said, in the moment before he gets the all-seeing eyes of God. That is the moment where he's stuck. Where he was frozen and his sister said something. So he doesn't feel right using the powers for himself, but he will use it to help others. And not even just like world-ending things. Like, of course, he works for Libra, so he does some pretty important things. But he also helps out like his landlord. He helps her find her cat, and he uses his all-seeing eyes of God on his pet Sonic, right? Not the hedgehog, a monkey. I'll probably put him here. Cool little dude. But he uses that there. And he uses his powers for a lot of other people except himself, right? And again, spoilers, once again, for the series finale, we see another user of all-seeing eyes of God from like 150 years ago, I believe he said. He uses that not only on himself, but his surroundings. Because he can affect everybody else and make people see him in a different way, or not see him at all, or do a whole bunch of other stuff to where it's able to affect himself. But Leo never does that. And it's shown that he has the ability to do that. Like, what he does with his powers, especially in season 2, is very immense, right? Even in season 1, like the eye scramble thing and whatnot. But a lot of the time, he can use that power and never be hurt. He doesn't have to get jumped. He doesn't have to put money spread around his body so when somebody steals his wallet, they only got $20, which is an actual thing. He mentions that in... it's like season 2, episode 6, I believe. I just rewatched all of it again recently. That's why it's so like locked in there. But, right? He doesn't feel worthy, and he doesn't feel like he actually has his powers until it's for somebody else. But when it's time to step up and take like his own self-advocacy, he still sees himself as that boy that never got off the proverbial bus. The boy that never left that moment of right before you were given the all-seeing eyes of God, right before your sister stepped up, and he's the older brother, so he felt like he had to do stuff like that, right? Maybe right or wrong. I'm not saying, as an older brother, I understand it. I would give up my eyesight. I'm not Leo, though. But right before that moment where Michaela was like, hey, take my sight instead, he didn't do anything. And he still sees himself as that boy who can't do anything for himself. Or for, I guess, in this case, Michaela. But he still pushes himself when it comes to other people, and that's because he's just generally a good person. Speaking of helping people, if you guys want to help people out today, you guys can check out Operation Olive Branch. I'll have all of their stuff linked in my bio, not in my bio, sorry, so used to saying that for TikTok, linked in the description of this video. They help out Palestinian families and like kind of connect people with other Palestinian families to donate to their stuff. Just a great organization overall. I'll have all of the link to their website and like all their socials down there. Even if you don't have the money to donate, you can always help by sharing out their message like I'm doing now. You don't have to make like a 30+ minute long video on blood blockade to do that, but you can repost their stuff, even make your own post just about them, right? Any word is good word, right? You got just getting their own stuff out there to help people out. I'll have all their stuff linked down there. This is not a sponsor, by the way. I'll probably have that like plastered somewhere here. This is not a sponsor at all. I just want to be able to like actually put something out there and like try to help people with this, right? Again, not a sponsor. An endorsement, if anything, I guess. I don't know what to call it. I'm spreading the word. This is spreading the word. But yeah. And they do try to paint that as a picture as, even with everything going on, deep down in his core, that boy is a good person. And I say that because we see a lot of the humans in Hell Salem's Lot treat everybody differently. Oh man, it's called like a ghetto or something like that. But it's like a really pristine place because where all like the humans are at. And the way that they treat the monsters and whatnot, or like they'll see my boy Nedge, love him, love the boy Nedge. He'll get hit by a truck and people are like, he probably deserved it. They were jumping Nedge in the street. A truck driver hit him, got out the car, the truck that he hit him with, went into the street and started pounding on my boy. All the other humans were like, he probably deserved it. If that was Leo would have stepped up and said something. He also did step up later on in the episode, right? It's just shown that dude is just a really nice guy. He's just a really nice guy. He doesn't take people's differences or like anything like that, right? So him using his powers to help other people, it's not like uncommon, or it's not like, well, why does he use that for not that? It's just because for other people, he puts them on a higher pedestal than himself, right? Because he sees himself as a boy who can't do anything and deserves it. Where everybody else, if I can save them, I will, because of the one time I couldn't save my sister. My last point for this one, for that, like the whole Leonardo watch, I'm a broken watch, I'm in love with like things that don't move and that time doesn't affect them or whatnot. The boy fell in love with a ghost. Season 1, he falls in love with a ghost, right? She calls herself a ghost. She's not technically a ghost, but she is somebody where she wasn't supposed to be alive anymore. Like, she's a barrier now, so she's not, like, she's human, but like not really. And like, she knows she's living on borrowed time. She is also stuck in that same spot she was at 3 years ago. When a god, well, actually, a blood breed, I think. It was one of the elder blood breeds, King Despair. When a blood breed came up to her and her brother, she is stuck in that moment because after that, she ends up dying, and then they have to like patch her with like a seal or whatnot, and she becomes one of the seals for the city. She knows she's a seal. Her brother knows she's a seal. Everybody else doesn't, outside the other casters. But, right? So she's also a seal. So also, sorry if you guys can hear the lawnmower going on. Of course, he started right when I started recording, but this is like the only time I have to record. Either way, yeah, she's a seal for the city, right? She's stuck in time. She calls herself a ghost. She's essentially a ghost, right? She's not dead or anything, but she is a relic of a previous time. She is a seal from 3 years ago, and that's all she really is. Like, she's a person, she's this and that. The boy fell in love with a ghost. If they're not trying to hammer in that he is stuck in time, I don't know what else. I truly don't know what else. I don't. I really don't, right? There's so much more, and we're going to get into it in part 2. I just want you to know that alone kind of explains the ending. The rest of this will concrete hammer that bad boy in. But that alone, if you've seen the ending, you know, you should see how important this all is, right? Okay. If you don't, it's fine. It's fine. There's still more in this video. I still got more time to convince you, right? Now, part 2. Libra and friends, right? These are the people that really shape and kind of mold Leo into who he is towards the end of season 2, right? Because the Leo we first meet and the Leo at the end of season 2 are completely different people. And that is what I love about the show. Even though it's episodic, it doesn't really go into like the next day after this. from this event, blah, blah, blah. What changes are the people. The people themselves changes. Their character changes. The biggest character change that we can see is Leonardo Watch. But who shapes him? Libra. Who's Libra? I'm not going to explain Libra. It's secret organization. There you go. But the characters of Libra are very important. One of the most important characters for him are Zap Renfro and Klaus von Reinhurst. Klaus von Reinhurst, love that man. Love that man immensely. But Klaus, he essentially is like the father figure that Leo now has. I'm sure he has a dad. I don't remember them explaining their parents' situation, but he's like a new person for Leo to look up to in the sense that this is the ideal. This is like what I want to be, right? Because Klaus never gives up. That man is on the verge of death every other Bloodbreed fight, but he never gives up. This dude was fighting that giant dude. Here's a photo, hopefully. Klaus was punching his toes. No joke, slamming on that man's toenails, doing no damage. But he doesn't give up. And you know what? Hold on. Here's a here's a quote from Klaus that Leo says at the end of the series that Klaus kind of says throughout the series. Okay, here we go. Ready? It's from episode 1. Season 1, episode 1. Klaus says to Leo, as long as one tries to take even one step toward the light, the human spirit can never truly be defeated. Right? He says that. Leo references it at the end of season 2, the end of the series. And it's very important because that obviously stuck with Leo, A. But B, it's trying to show Leo, like, you got to keep doing this, man. You just got to, like, you got to keep taking steps forward, right? And that's essentially what everybody in his life from Libra is showing him in different ways. We see Klaus, right? That man has a lot of stress going on. He's always fighting a Bloodbreed. He's always fighting something crazy big, right? Like when he was fighting Leo's friend who got, like, the little parasite thingy, and that man was massive. Here's a photo of Klaus punching a toe. Hopefully I can get that photo for you. He doesn't give up. Like, him doing this actually did nothing. But he would rather keep taking steps forward and trying his best than not do nothing at all. Than stop and fail, right? And that's what everybody is showing Leo. From him. From freaking Stephen A. Starface. Oh, love my boy Stephen Allen Starface. His middle name's Allen. Hope you know that. All of his friends turning on him. Season 2, all of his friends turned on him. And he had to send him straight to the underworld. He actually does. He has a little side squad. Either way, sends him straight to the underworld. Right? He has to keep moving on. All these characters have something that goes on. Heck, Zap is in something every other day. Right? His junk almost exploded. Real thing. Real thing. He keeps moving forward, but when stuff happens to Leo early on, it's hard for him to move forward. And he doesn't understand, and this is like, these are actual things he says, that I don't understand how these people keep going on. Because after like some like massive battle, they'll just keep moving. They'll be like, all right, cool, man. Done. We're out of here. Like the first time they see a Bloodbreed, season 1, when they're fighting in the train station, Leo doesn't fully understand how they're able all to just walk away from it. I mean, Steven and KK almost die. Klaus finally gets in there. He helps out. And they all walk away from it and go back to work the next day. And it's showing Leo, like, so this is how, like, people keep moving on. And it's over these, like, series of episodic events that we see Leo slowly start being able to move forward and move on, right? Granted, he is still stuck in that one spot, like I said, like with the whole seeing as a god thing. He's still there. But these newer things that are happening, he's able to keep moving on, keep moving forward. End of season 1. The man is, I think he was in the catacombs. He's in the catacombs under like a cemetery. Really far down, by the way. I don't know what kind of catacombs those were. If you've ever seen that clip of him walking up those stairs, I don't know where they got those. Either way, right? He's walking up the stairs, and he's deciding to keep going, keep fighting. Because for the longest, he's just laying down there until the King Depravity is like, big dog, what are you doing? Right? Like, King Depravity came down there to finish him. One second. The lawnmower is going by my window. One second. I'm sorry for that. Like I was saying, the King of Depravity even is like, big dog, what are you doing? Right? Leo decides to keep moving forward. And he's thinking about all of his friends from Libra. Zap forever getting into something, right? Getting somebody else into something or getting into something. Klaus always going for it. Steven, KK. Oh my God, Chain. Chain doesn't actually get a lot of like screen time season 1, so he doesn't know that Chain's going through it. But season 2, Chain was going through it, but she kept moving forward, right? And seeing that helps him kind of change the way he thinks about himself and the way he thinks about his own life. And like, yeah, maybe I should still keep going forward, right? Especially after the fight where Zap tricks Klaus to come down to the boxing ring and whatnot. Come to find out, the boss of the boxing ring was actually just a blood breed. They just had to sit with that. And they did, but they kept moving forward. And it's one of the first times we see Leo not fully question everything. Like, what's going on, man? Why are we still moving forward? He also moves forward. So we get to see that slow change in him. And even just with him no longer doubting his powers, not necessarily for himself, but for everybody else and like using it for everybody else. Now, all of this here is also going to kind of go into part 3. We're not going to part 3 just yet. But with part 3, it's the indomitable human spirit, right? Who else but Libra exemplifies the indomitable human spirit? That's what they're trying to teach Leo, essentially, is that you got to keep moving, dog. You have to keep moving. You got to keep going forward. You can't just stop and be like, not moving forward no more. You got to keep going, right? And there's even a quote from his sister, which is the whole reason why he's called the Turtle Knight, which is because, well, the Tortoise Knight, because she was like, tortoises can't move backwards. I don't think that's true. Like, I'm really sure they can move backwards. The show came out a while ago. Maybe that wasn't true up until then. But tortoises can't move backwards. He may be stuck, but he will always keep taking steps forward. She says that in the end of season 2, end of series, right? Which is great. It's really good because, like, yeah, that's exactly what Leo's doing, and that's what he's learning how to do. That right there is kind of exemplifying what Leo is. He's stuck, but every so often he takes one step forward, and that's all he has to do. He just has to keep going, but he has to realize he's taking steps forward, and he's not stuck where he's getting his eyes, right? Man, the other part of this part, all right, my boy Nedge. Oh, my boy Nedge. All right, me and my partner watched that. They cried immediately at the end of that episode. The episode where Nedge is introduced, it's a sad one, dog. That's a really sad episode, like, genuinely. But what I really feel like Nedge does, and not even just like getting Leo to use his ability and whatnot, right? Because he does for a little bit, and then my boy gets knocked out, right? But what Leo does is he starts resorting to violence a little bit more, which I'm not saying violence is the answer, but in a city like Hell Salem's Lot, you got to be able to throw a few punches, right? Leo does not do that for the longest. Even when trying to defend people, he does the eye thing really quick, and then that's it. But when it comes to Nedge, when it comes to that small dude who I don't remember who his name is, but his name's going to be right here. If that lawnmower doesn't leave, bro, his name was right there. Sorry, the lawnmower's gone, but his name is right there, right? Those two examples really show that, like, Leo trying to stick up for other people isn't just like, I stuff, I'm out. No, Leo fully headbutts a dude that is probably like 6'5", right? Trying to help the dude whose name I can't remember. Hopefully that name is still up there. Trying to help him out because he's really frail to the point where when he caught a baseball, broke his arm. I mean, like, clean break. But Leo was able to, like, stick up for him and was like, tell him sorry. They didn't tell him sorry. He just jumped up, headbutt the dude, and ran. No eyes of God. No, nothing, man. Just a straight up headbutt. With Nedge, he started yelling at other people for Nedge. With Leo, he yells at other people. But he was ready to scrap. You know what I mean? That's good. That's really good. Again, I'm not saying violence is the answer or anything. But in Hell Salem's Lot, you got to. You got to fight sometimes. And Leo doesn't fight. And if he's not going to fight for himself, at least he's fighting for other people. Because there's times where, like, he does stuff waiting for the people of Libra to come. But I think those two moments with him helping Buddy Boy's name right there and also Nedge really shows that it's like, yeah, man, I don't have to wait for, like, I hope Zap's around the corner because I'm going to swing on you and he's going to handle you. No, I'm going to handle you myself, right? And whatever happens, happens. I love that for him, and I love that growth for him. It also shows him like a little bit of like civil disobedience with stuff and disagreeing with people more because he was a very meek dude, right? Steal his wallet, telling him to say sorry. He probably would season 1. Not even to like a monster or anything like that. I could go up to Leo, push him down, take his wallet, and tell him to tell me sorry. And he would, season 1. Season 2, Leo, I might catch a headbutt. Just might. Episode 11 and 12, Leo. 10 and before, he still would. Episode 11 and 12, though, I might catch a headbutt. Or he might make my eyes go crazy. Next thing you know, I'm doing one of those, right? All of this to say, the people that he finds in Hell Salem's Lot and Libra just shape him to show him to keep going, right? But it's never outright said. It's not outright said because it doesn't have to be outright said. Nobody has to say something for you to learn a lesson. You know what I mean? Like you can watch somebody else do something and have a takeaway, a personal takeaway. And that's what happens to Leo. You can see him hanging around these people shape him over time. And it's not like, oh, one episode he's acting all cool and tough, and the next episode he's back to wimpy Leo. No, it's a steady progression. It is a steady progression, and I love that, right? All right, the creator of this show, Yashiro Naitao, sorry if I said that incorrectly, but has done this before. He made Trigun. I don't know if you guys knew this already. This is the same dude who made Trigun, right? And I'm talking, I think he also did Stampede. I've only seen the original, I haven't fully watched Stampede all the way through yet. I'm sure it's great. But in the original Trigun, you can see that Vash kind of changes over time. And he has to, because he has to adapt to the world that he's in, right? He can't stay stagnant. He cannot stay stuck in his previous mindset, just like Leo cannot stay stuck in the past. This is not new for this man, but I feel like Blood Blockade, since he's not able to really take care of himself like that, it's not as like seen as, oh yeah, Leo's obviously like learning such as Vash was. No, Leo, it looks like he's not learning anything, but he is. He really is, right? I think that's just like the most important part of it all, okay? Personally. But check it out in part 3. The Indomitable Human Spirit is what I've just titled part 3, because that is what I truly believe is a central theme throughout this entire show. It's what they're trying to show Leo, right? It's what the whole point of Libra, or not the whole point, but like the point of him being with Libra and showing him that like, you can do this too, man. It's not like, oh yeah, I can go fight 50 blood breeds. No. But you can make it to the next day. You can keep moving. Now, I'm going to explain what indomitable means real quick. Indomitable, thanks to Google, an adjective that cannot be subdued or overcome. A person's will or courage, unconquerable. An indomitable warrior. Synonyms, unyielding. Antonyms, yielding. Essentially, man, I'm not stopping. Essentially just an unstoppable force, you know what I mean? Like he just keeps going. And that's what Klaus is. That's what Zap is. That's what Chain is. That is what all of Libra is. KK, that woman had a visor on at her school, at her son's bring your parent to school day, knocking out enemies with the using a robot, and then fought a blood breed with a robot, and then fought the blood breed that was at the school. And still had time for her kid. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't stop, bro. She just doesn't stop. Nobody in that show stops, right? That's what they want for Leo. It's not that Leo doesn't have the indomitable human spirit. Of course he does. Everything he's been through, he's still going. Of course he does. But Leo doesn't realize that he has the indomitable human spirit. That's the important part. Leo has to know that he's the one doing this. He has to understand himself like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's all me right there, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, Leo doesn't fully get that he hasn't stopped, that he just keeps going, because he does. He truly does. And it really sucks that he doesn't get it up until the end. The last 2 episodes, he understands it. But that's the whole point. The indomitable human spirit. Now, the ending of the show. Leo is fighting this person that has his sister hostage. This person is like 150 years old or something. Actually, older than that, because he got the one all-seeing eye of God 150 years ago. So he's older than that. Little weird dude, right? And he's telling Leo, like, hey, you can't tell anybody because I'm watching you. Don't get anybody else involved. I'll take out your sister. I'll do all this other stuff. You're going to give me your other eye, right? So Leo has to do this himself entirely. He wasn't able to tell anybody else because he was being watched. He wasn't able to like signal. He wasn't able to do anything. So he understood, I'm going to have to fight this man. Now, I don't remember seeing Leo use this ball and chain that he pulls out during this fight. My boy had a ball and chain. Leo uses like a ball and chain to wrap around him so he can hear him when the dude's moving because he's super light. And the other dude uses his all-seeing eyes of God to distort Leo, right? But Leo uses his to distort him. Little side note, when Leo overuses all-seeing eyes of God, it fries his eyes and like his brain. So he was having smoke come from his eyes. But he's doing all this to fight for his sister Michaela. Michaela's in the city at this point. She came to visit him. I'm not going to give you the whole background, okay? I'm not going to give you the whole background. Just know, his sister's in the city. She got taken hostage, and now he is fighting her captor. His friends don't know about this. He was not able to tell his friends. He just comes in here on one-on-one. He pulls a bottle of Jack. Not a joke. Not a joke. And cracks this man over the head. And starts going to town with a bottle of Jack, bro. And it's effective. It's really effective. He got lucky because like his opponent was super light because he hides around in shadows and whatnot. So he's light, so he can't be hurt. So Leo is beating him with a bottle of Jack. And then he goes back on the offensive. He starts getting stabbed and whatnot. And Michaela at one point, because he's like, move any more, and I'm taking out your sister. So he stops. He drops his bottle of Jack. He drops the ball and chain. Michaela leaps from her chair, not with her feet, obviously. She just does one of those, right? Little FNAF jump scare at you, right? And tackles the man, right? Like, that part's not really important. The important part is Leo still keeps going, and he starts beating him again, right? And he throws him. He's fighting with him. And at one point, the man just starts stabbing Leo. I mean, like General Grievous, multiple arms under the arms, just stabbing my boy. But he doesn't stop. It was very reminiscent of Klaus when he fought the Bloodbreed at that hospital, right? He doesn't stop. And this is one of the few times where we get to see Leo tap into himself. He was ready to keep moving no matter what. And he did. He did keep moving no matter what. He couldn't rely on anybody else. He didn't think anybody else was coming, just like with Nedge. Just like with that dude right there. Again, sorry, don't remember his name. Just like with those instances, he understood that nobody else is coming for me. I'm the only hope. And he started using his powers for himself. He was using his powers against the other dude, combating his own powers. But it's very rare for Leo to use his own powers on himself without like, oh, I'm looking at something or I'm doing blah, blah. Using it for combat? Never. Not until now. Not until now. That's very important. Leo was able to keep moving forward actively. Actively. Not just, okay, yeah, it's for his sister, but it's also for himself. He's being given the chance to redeem himself for what happened 3 years ago, right? My boy Leo is able to fight, right? He's really able to get in there. Luckily, his people realize something's up. Let's go help him out. So they go help him out, and they come in at the last minute, right? But even if they didn't come in at the last minute, Leo was ready for it. He was going in no matter what. And that's the whole point of the show. Sure, Klaus ends up delivering the final blow. Leo did this himself. The show isn't about some major world-ending thing. The show isn't about some, like, ultimately, the enemy from Season 1 was finally defeated at the end of Season 2, and everybody lived happily ever after. No. There's gonna be enemies after that. The manga still goes, right? Like, the manga's still going. Recently, I think it just started up again. So, like, it's still going. But the point of this right here was showing that Leo can have growth. Showing that Leo is growing as a person. And he's coming to Hell Salem's Lot, not only to find a cure, but also to realize maybe there doesn't need to be a cure, but we have to keep moving forward. His sister is fine with it. She's fine not having her sight. She's fine with not walking. She's accepted it and has moved on. The only one that hasn't is Leo. Probably his parents too. But Leo, right? Because he's our main character. Leo is shown he is finally starting to move forward, right? He's not that boy that couldn't say anything when his sister stood up for him and she lost her sight. That's not him anymore. He's not that boy from a few years ago. He's a new man. He's a man that's been able to go through hell and save his life. He fought the king of depravity and the king of despair. He fought both of them, right? Granted, the king of despair, I think he just like released him into another body. So despair is still out there. But he fought them head on. He's fought blood breeds head on. He's fought many different kinds of enemies straight to their face, man. That is a different man. The only one who didn't realize he was different was himself. Now that he realizes, I'm a different person. I'm a different guy. He's able to kind of like reconcile with that. And you just see that growth and that realization in him at the end of the show. It's really just a beautiful ending because it's just life, man. Stuff goes on. It's not going to be some perfect ending. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, man, that friendship punch was crazy. Maybe the real soul leaders was the souls we made along the way, right? The soul leader ended with a friendship punch in the anime, not in the manga. But like, it's not gonna be one of those. It's not gonna be something to where something so catastrophic. They're like, oh man, I can't believe the show ended like that. No, it's just another day. My boy realized who he is. My boy realized what he's become. And now they have to keep moving on. They got to keep going, right? That's life. He can't be stuck in this moment now of him being a hero. No. He got healed up. His sister went back home. And you know what he did? He went on the next mission. It was a secret. It was like a secret mission at a mansion or something like that. Went on the next mission. That's it. That's what happens. Do you know why? Because life goes on. And that's what the show was showing you. Life goes on. You need to move forward. Right? Why is this so important to me? Right? Little TMI for you. During COVID, I was depressed. Like, heavily depressed. Thank God I started going to therapy during COVID as well. I was in the lowest point of my life, genuinely, right? This show and Gurren Lagann, oddly enough, Neon Genesis as well. I watched all of them, I think, in succession. Just randomly. Didn't choose, like, I was just choosing anime and whatnot. This show and like showing like the lesson of like you have to keep moving on, life still goes on, was so helpful for me, man. Like it really did. It did a number on me, dude. It really did. And that's why I feel so strongly about the ending, because I just want everyone else to understand what the ending is and like what the ending was. Even after this video, if you don't like the ending, that's fine. At least I know that you know how it was supposed to be shown and like what's really going on here. It wasn't just anticlimactic. It wasn't random. It was intentional that he's going to grow and learn, and now you just got to keep moving on, right? You can't stay on that same failure. You can't stay on the same lesson. You can't stay on the same W. You got to keep moving, dog. You got to keep moving. And that's what it showed me. You know, I was stuck in a moment from like 2019, right before the pandemic. Some really big stuff happened to me right before the pandemic. And I didn't get out of that. I was still that same senior in high school at that point in 2019. I was still that same senior in high school. That was me. I was, 20 at that point? I think I was like 20. And I was like still depressed because I still saw myself as that same person. I wasn't. I'd gone through so much, you know? But I couldn't like really see that in myself. And this show, Gurren Lagann, right, Neon Genesis, they all kind of helped me to realize, like, I got to keep moving. And therapy. Don't want to discount therapy. Don't just watch anime. Go check out some therapy. But, right? Shout out Chin Mai, my old therapist. Great woman. But yeah, man. Like, even for myself, like, I just realized, like, I got to keep going, man. I can't be stuck in that moment. And I'm not anymore. I've never been happier, right? I don't know. I don't see how it wasn't super obvious. Maybe I was reading too much into the show, right? Maybe I just had a world-class teacher who showed me how to read media. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Again, this is a long video. This is probably like 25-30 minutes. Thank you so much. Also, if you're here for my Yu-Gi-Oh video, thanks, dude. That video is doing really well. I really appreciate that. Like, I really do. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching, man. Hey, pound it. I'd hit my phone if it wasn't on a stand. Also, your boy upgraded. Crazy. My mom got a phone stand for my job because it was on sale. Now I got a little phone stand. Even has a little ring light in the back. I don't got it on. Use a natural light. But I could use it, right? It's crazy. The first video was leaning on like a loaf of bread and some of my brother's like little toy blocks in the kitchen. Now I got a phone stand. What a world. But yeah, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. I really do. If you like this video, go check out the Yu-Gi-Oh video if you haven't seen it, where I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds and how it's a hood story, essentially, right? I really like that video. Maybe you will too. Shout out my partner for watching the series with me. They still haven't watched season 2. I had to watch that on my own. They gotta watch season 2. But shout out them. Shout out my cousin Daniel, right? My cousin Daniel's always hyping me up for my videos and whatnot. Love that dude so much. Shout out Miss Grande, right? My English teacher, or my old English teacher now. But amazing person. And shout out you. You watch this video. Oh my God, dude. Thank you. I don't know who you are, but thank you. And what I will say is, if I don't see you, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night.